Hello there. Come in, have a seat. It is wonderful to meet you. Oh, firm handshake. Oh, very, very good. Please come in, have a seat. I know I've just met you and I've been assigned to you and all, but considering that you are on trial and you're definitely facing some pretty heavy charges, I get the sense that you probably didn't do it. I knew it. I knew you didn't do it. Well, listen. I'm your lawyer here today, and I am, I was provided to you by the government, and, I may not have passed my bar, and I may not technically be a lawyer, but I think that the justice system is incredibly helpful, and it works perfectly, okay? So right now, there aren't that many lawyers available, so I'm just sort of filling in, so this is technically not legal advice, but, it is advice that I'm going to give. This is not legal advice, but if it's, wink wink, that sort of thing. So, there are a few things that we have to get doing. Just because I don't have I did not pass my bar does not necessarily mean that I don't know what needs to be done. So, first of all, I would like to go over some basics, okay? Okay, well. Can I have your name? Yes, I do have it on file. I've got all of your records. The issue is your name changes very frequently, and I find that is very unfortunate, and it makes you very suspicious. So yes, okay, that's the one you're going with. Okay. Now, can I get what crime you have committed? Very cheeky. That's right. Never admit to a crime. No. So what are you being convicted of? What are you being charged with? I see. Okay. So is that the first murder? Oh, okay. Okay. You've got many under your belt. That's very wonderful. Listen. This is a technically, I am not, I did not pass the bar. I'm technically not a lawyer. Therefore, there is no confidentiality, but don't worry, we'll keep it between us. So, how many years are you facing? Okay, that's plenty. Okay, and have you been offered a plea deal yet? I know I've sort of come in sort of midway through your process. Okay, you have, and you said no? Okay. Is that because you're confident that you thought it was a really bad plea deal? Okay. Okay. And could I get your address? Shh. Never give out your address like that. Especially for someone like you. No. Listen, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a P.O. box. That is what that's where all of your stuff is going to end up. It is way safer than a physical address, especially if you have loved ones. Okay. Now, you've mentioned that, you have a few murders under your belt. Well done. How many? I know, I understand you're not supposed to admit to these sort of things. I just said that. But it's just logistical, I just want to know how many, just in case it comes up in the courtroom, I am going to be there, standing in front of a judge. So I want to know exactly, I want to cover our bases. Okay. Interesting, double digits. Now, the real question is, did you do it? Yes, I understand this. It's a question that you've sort of answered, but I need a full explanation. Because if you did do it, then there's a lot of steps that we need to take, We have to get together and act fast. We need to make sure the evidence is covered up. We need to bury the body. We need to make sure that the body is not found. We also need to make sure that there is a suitable alibi for you. And how am I supposed to stage any sort of alibi for you? I need to hire people. I need to get hush money. There's so much that needs to be done, and I can't do that if you don't tell me if you've done it. But if you haven't done it, if you say you haven't done it, I will believe you. But I will say that you will have, you basically would have had the most extraordinarily bad luck because, I mean, you're here and you're facing so long in prison. I just don't understand how that is even possible, unless someone is specifically setting you up, but you're such a nice guy. I don't think you would have, someone would be setting you up like this. So, okay. So, did you do it or did you not do it? Okay. Okay, so if that's the case, I will get on that, and don't worry, leave it to me. I am a professional, but remember, this is not exactly legal advice. It is not legal advice. Okay, so next let's talk about some facts and some evidence, okay? I did get a whole stack of papers, and it is all of the evidence that has been, recorded, from the prosecution. So I would like to discuss it with you, just from, because, I see these papers, I read them, but I like to get a face-to-face, and especially because you're going to be in front of a deposition, and they're going to ask you these same questions, and you're going to have to lie with a straight face. So I need you to tell me everything that's happened, everything that you say happened, and I need it to be believable. Okay? Okay, so can you tell me, where were you during the scene of the crime? Okay. Mm-hmm. See, okay, I'm going to stop you right there. First of all, the tears right off the bat, it's not very good. I think that is, you're trying too hard. And I would also say that placing yourself at the scene of the crime is really not a good idea. You want to put yourself as far away as possible. Say you were out of town. I'll figure out the alibi stuff later. I'll figure out, what you're supposed to say. But your instincts for this sort of thing is really poor. How did you get away with so many murders up until now? Okay. Now, are you not aware that there were blood samples taken and that your blood was found at the scene of the crime? You are not aware. Okay, well, that is a lie. Okay, I don't want you to lie about things that are facts. I want you to lie about things that would incriminate you. We know that your blood was there, so you need to come up with a reason why your blood was there that does not put you there, right? Say that you recently donated blood, and that maybe the doctor was there. They were carrying your blood around like some sort of, magic doctor of some kind. Or you could say that, you had recently sold some of your blood to afford to live. Everybody loves a sob story. So if you want to, use the fact that you are, perhaps you don't have a lot of money. I don't know your financial situation. I'm not going to presume, I'm very professional in that way. I don't presume my, my clients and the criminal's background and of any kind. So, of course, if you want to share, you can, but I don't particularly care for that much. So yes, you need to come up with a better reason. So I suggest, the doctor, you recently gave blood. Now they are going to check. So I will have to stick a needle in you. Don't worry, I've done it plenty of times before on myself and on others. So I think that is going to be perfectly fine, and in fact it will leave a little bit of a scar, and I think that's preferable so that there is evidence that you had blood drawn, right? You can even say that they drew blood in a very aggressive manner, like they were mad at you or something. Make it, play up that there was something going on, right? So that they can look somewhere else and don't look at you. They don't want to look at you, okay? All right, so now, the next question that I have for you, when you are up front in a jury, will you or will you not be able to tell the whole truth? Yeah, it's a little bit of a weird question. Yes, this is a question I added myself, actually. It's not one that is normally added to deposition, but I wanted to really get you to understand that there is going to be a jury and they are going to be watching you. So I need you to understand that you need to be very good at acting. You need to be very charismatic. And, we are going to plant evidence. You are going to have to lie a lot. And at this point, it would be very good if you, found a way to convert to some form of religion. That way you can swear upon that, religious text. And, you won't actually care because you didn't actually convert, but you say you converted. And, a lot of jurors tend to sympathize with people who are religious, or at the very least have found religion, hit a turning point, that sort of thing. So with that is all the questions I have for you for the deposition. However, now we're going to discuss how to look presentable. Now, I understand that you are currently being held in prison, until your trial date, and let's just say that prison is not very kind to you in terms of your looks. Now, some of it is genetic. Some of us can't help but be born ugly. That is, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Okay. Now, the jurors are going to care about that quite a lot. So let's find a way to make you perhaps a little less unattractive. Okay. So I'd like to touch upon the 4-step process: hair, skin, eyes, and smell. So first, let's talk about your hair. Your hair is, of course, wonderful, beautiful, except that it's not. It's a little bit disgusting. And, I understand you have not been showering. The guards have told me that you haven't been showering in the prison. You don't really feel safe. I completely understand that. But think about it this way. You are smelly and your hair does not look good. So you really have to weigh whether you want to be safe and, besides, you might make friends. You can make friends in there. People are, you have made friends. Then why do you feel unsafe? Because of the guards. Yeah, I understand. These for-profit prisons, they are very, very difficult to, have guards that are, that are able to treat people well. But you know what? I totally understand. I'll tell you what. I will organize something for you so that you and your friends, your new friends, I'm surprised you're able to make friends with how you look, but, I'm not going to judge. Instead, I will just help you with your hair. Okay. So let's go ahead here and grab this. So I just need to brush your hair a little bit because I'm seeing a lot of gunk in it. And despite the fact that I want you to shower, you might not have enough time for your deposition. And they are going to record your deposition and they might show it to the jurors. So it's important that you look as best as you can. Okay, so let's just go ahead here and very good. Okay, yeah, see, it's basically a sandstorm is getting kicked up from your hair. When was the last time you actually washed this? That is far too long. Far too long. Okay. We're not going to spend too long on this pampering here. Okay, so next we're going to talk about skin here. So I just need your skin to be a little bit rejuvenated, okay? So I'm just going to spray a little bit and then wipe it on your face, okay? So just, okay. And then I'm just going to right on your face here. Oh, very good. Just so that it's a bit more fresh. It's, I have sort of rubbed a little bit of the grime. I swirled it around, but it does look a little bit better. Now, in terms of your eyes, I do have eye drops. Let me see if I can find them. I have eye drops for you. Now, what these are going to do is they're going to make you cry. Okay, now I understand you have a very good sense of how to cry on command. I'm pretty sure most murderers can do that. But what I want for you is to know how to control it, okay? So when you cry, this is going to sting a little, right? It's in your eye and it's going to sting because it's going to swirl the things around. And it's going to make you think twice about whether you are going to whether you want to commit to crying, right? And that's going to help because nothing is more believable than someone who's holding back tears. Okay, so first drop. Just, okay, 1, 2. Okay, now, okay, 1, 2. Okay, very good. Okay, and then last is going to be your smell. Now, your smell here, I'm going to just pat a little bit of, perfume, cologne. I honestly don't understand why in English you separate perfume and cologne based off of sort of gender, in other languages, or at least in the other language that I do know. We just say the same word for all scented products, okay? So I'm just going to, okay, and then just, okay, now look up so that I can get it on your neck. Okay, very good, very good. Okay, so enough with the pampering here. You're not at a spa. Let us now discuss tips and tricks. Now, I have the sneaking suspicion that you are going to lose me. And I say this because they're being very, very slow. And as soon as I get my degree and I pass the bar and everything, it's not going to be, I'm not really going to be coming back. So if you end up having your hearing while I'm still in the process, I of course will be there and I will help you 100%. I am behind you and I will be there for you every step of the way. But as soon as I pass the bar, I am of course going to be gone, because then I'll actually be able to give legal advice. And right now, this is not legal advice. Remember that. So, I just wanted to leave you with some tips and tricks just to remember me by, okay? Just tips and tricks that you are able to, so that you can learn and grow as a criminal, as a murderer, as a human, as someone who has made friends, right? So, first of all, always return to the scene of the crime, okay? They always say don't return to the scene of the crime. I don't think that's really the case, right? You really should return to the scene of the crime, because how are you going to know what's been going on, And let me be honest here. I feel like if you do return to the scene of the crime, people are going to think you're really stupid, which is exactly that's exactly what you want them to think, right? You want them to think that the murderer is really smart, and that if you do something stupid, you're outmaneuvering them. So always return to the scene of the crime. Also, I would really hate it, and I need you to promise me this, okay? I would really hate it if you went through all this process, you go through the justice system, you get chewed up by our horrible justice system, and then you come out the other end and you drop this wonderful hobby of yours. Listen, I crochet. I have friends who game. I have friends who spend way too much time doing yoga. I have friends who are discovering themselves. But you've already discovered yourself, and you have a hobby that not only does it cost nothing. In fact, I guess it costs something, but it doesn't cost you anything, right? It just costs a life. And I'll be honest, I think that it's truly wonderful to see someone find a hobby that they're very passionate about, As someone who picks up hobbies all the time and drops them just for I pick it up for a season, then I drop it. And then, I have my stuff and I'm like, oh, I'll get back to it. And then I just never get back to it. I do think that you may have found something special. So I need you to promise me that you're going to keep doing it. I'm not advocating that you necessarily murder people, but you are a murderer, and that is your hobby, I would assume, unless you would consider it a career. I would say that, professionally, I would say that potentially it is a career of yours, but I don't think you've made much money on it, so let's just call you a hobbyist. So I would say my not legal advice, because remember, this is not legal advice, is to just keep doing it, because you need to be filled with passion, you know? Okay. And this is for, I'm sure, you know, in the future, you might have children, you might come into a position where you are, you know, you never know, you might be pardoned, you might, who knows, right? So if you ever come to a situation where you're in charge of some little ones, you know, you need to pass on the advice. You need to pass on this hobby of yours, right? Make it a family tradition, you know? This is something to keep in mind. Also, this is something that is actually very, very strong advice. At a certain point, you're going to realize that if you have money, the justice system just doesn't apply to you. And this hobby of yours is particularly, it's a nuisance, right? In regards to the justice system, right? So I would recommend investing in some stocks, you know, crypto, NFTs. I mean, those are pretty much dead, but you know, you could start one. You could start a cryptocurrency. You could invest in AI. Everyone says that's going to be the whole next big thing, even though, you know, it seems to be slowly declining. But if you do that, you might come out with a lot of money, and then the justice system just doesn't apply to you anymore. And, you know, that's what's great about our justice system, is that if you have money, then it just doesn't apply to you anymore. So, yeah. And then, of course, you gotta work it. I mean, come on. Even if you are found not guilty, you and I both know that you did some, you know, you're a little bad. So let's just say that when you're found not guilty, you need to work it. You need to be a little bit of a diva, you know, you gloat, you know, feel some emotions, right? Because once that happens, then what's going to happen? You're gonna feel ecstatic, right? Absolutely. Yes. Okay. Well, with that is everything that I have for you today. So that is going to be our meeting. Your deposition is going to start in the next few days. Of course, I will be there, and I will coach you through the whole thing, and I'll make sure before it starts, I will tell you exactly where you were supposed to be. Okay? Okay, wonderful. Okay, well, I'll see you in a few days, all right? Until then, bye-bye.